Hello, and welcome back to yet another car review. So, today we are reviewing a 2020 Chevrolet Equinox and its LT trim. This car is actually a rental car. Me and a couple of my family members rented it to go. We used it to drive to Oklahoma to visit some family and, you know, haul all of us around, and we were going fishing and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different like uses that we had it for, and we had to drive it for a long time. But I was the first to drive it so that I could get like my own thoughts and opinions on it, obviously, so I can make this review. So here is my review of this car. First and foremost, I will say this is the LT trim. This is like the mid-range trim. This is not like the top trim. So I'm kind of just gonna like give kind of like a summary of it instead of like a whole entire like car review. Okay, so I'll just point out some things that like I think is really good about this car, and then some things that like I don't really care for. Okay, so something that I think is like really good, the trip up here, I will say the car is like how the miles per gallon like was really good. MPG, it says it gets like 31 on the highway, which it was kind of around there for the most part, the most time. And we did good. We drove what, 3 hours to Oklahoma. We had to sit in traffic, and we only burnt a half a tank of gas getting there, so it really was not that bad. And the ride also was very smooth. It was a very, very, very smooth ride, which was actually not as expected as I thought it was going to be, but nonetheless, like, it was a really good ride. So okay, and then another thing that I do like is, for it being only the middle range trim with really nothing on it, you do get like the lane keep assist, and you get forward collision warning. The collision warning's cool. There's like these little red bars that will pop up in the window if you are, it's not like a heads up display, but if you're about to like wreck, it'll like flash some red lights in the window. It's like 4 red beams really quickly, and it'll like beep at the same time, which will alert you to like stop. It's happened to me twice. They kind of come out of nowhere, and it's kind of sudden. So I think a little bit more like alert would be cool with that, but nonetheless the system works, and it was really like, it's good that you have it there. What I love about the lane keep system is the fact that I didn't know that this car had it. But I could feel it tug me back in the lane and stuff like that, so it was really good. It worked really well. It is a bit sensitive though. Even whenever you feel like you're in the middle of your lane, it'll still like kind of take over and move you, and you're like, okay, what happened? It also doesn't give you any warning that it's happening. The only warning that it gives you is there's like this little car in the like instrument cluster, and it'll go from being like a green color when you're driving and you're in the middle of the lane to like either a yellow or a white. Not exactly sure like what all that means. I think yellow is whenever you're like drifting out of your lane, and white is whenever you're either changing lanes or it's not sure where the lane is anymore. But yeah, that's the warning. You don't get any like, the steering wheel doesn't like vibrate, or like there's no like beeping noise or anything like that. Now, after you're like sitting there for a while, if you still haven't really realized that like the car is like moving over, or that it's trying to do it, then it will beep. But there's like no warning there really for you to know it. You just feel the car kind of move, and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. I will also say I do like, there's this feature that this car has. If you go into the settings, it is called like Backseat Reminder or whatever, and whenever you drive, like after you've driven for a bit, when you turn the car off, it'll pop up this warning. It'll ding, and it'll pop up a warning in like the instrument cluster on the screen that just says Backseat Reminder, and telling you to check your back seats before you get out. I think that's a really good safety feature to have. I'm sure other cars have it as well, but to have seen it and like know that it works, especially just to like limit the amount of like kids getting left in cars, or like forgetting things or anything like that, like always, it's just a really good reminder to have. And so like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, that's really neat. Now, I will also say, for a car without that much like tech on it, or that much quality put into it, I will say that I was very surprised that this car had LED headlights. Probably not that big to a lot of people, but if you have ever gone from like halogen headlights to like LED, you know that halogens are terrible. You can't really see much. So for this car to have LED headlights, I know there's automakers that don't really put LED headlights on their cars other than like the top trim. So for this one to have LED headlights without that much everything else on it was actually really neat, because I was definitely expecting halogens. I will say now, more of the like downside of this car is, for one, interior quality. I feel like there's a lot of hard plastics in here, and I feel like that could have been paid a lot more attention to. Again, like, I know this isn't the top trim, and definitely not every automaker does like put actual like quality like leather or like soft touch plastic or anything, like, for the most part in their cars. They more so make them, build them, and get them out. And I feel like this one could have been paid more attention to. I'm not really a fan of the interior of this car at all. I don't like the dashboard setup, and it's not the best. But yeah, that's not that great. This car also doesn't have like blind spot monitoring, which would be a big help, because the pillars in the back of the car are huge. They put little windows in them, but you can't really see out of the little windows, and with passengers in the back seat, it'd be kind of hard to see out of them anyway. So I really wish that the windows would be bigger, but with the car's like weird rear design as well, I don't know, I'm just not a fan of it at all. Yeah, just if I'm being honest, I really just do not like the design of the car at all, whether it's outside or inside. I feel like it looks very round and very, I don't know, I'm not really into it. I like the looks of like the new RAV4 more, or even to an extent the new Escape or anything like that. But when it comes to this, like the Equinox, I don't know, I think they could have done much better. I'm not a fan of the instrument cluster setup. It's just not, it doesn't look that great. But that's just me. There's some people that absolutely love it, and that's good for them, you know, but for me it's like, no. So I guess just final reviews of the car. Miles per gallon's good. The ride is very smooth, and it's got a very peppy engine. The engine actually, it's got some punch behind it. I will give them that. I was actually really surprised by the power output of this car. And then like the downside is, if you get like an LT trim, mid-range trim, unless you get like several options added on and stuff like that, there's not a lot of tech on it, and there's not much that's given to you. Would I buy it myself? Definitely not. I would look more so on the likes of like RAV4 of like CX-5 or something like that versus an Equinox. That's just me though. There's some people, like I said, that are out there that like it, and that's cool for them, but for me, definitely not. But it's not a bad car, and I would say to consider it, especially if you're doing it for like a family, or if you need it on like a long road trip or something. There's like 3 or 4 people. It's got a lot of room in it, and everybody sits comfortable. But if you're doing it just for, you know, you want an SUV or whatever, I'd say kind of weigh your options before settling on this one. If you can get a higher trim level, then I would say get that. But if not, then definitely weigh your options, because other cars get more stuff on it too. So, yeah, that is my review of this Chevrolet Equinox. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and leave a like, a big thumbs up at the bottom. Make sure y'all hit that button for me. But yes, definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have more car videos coming out soon, and I have a lot of other like vlogs and a lot more personal videos on my channel as well. So you guys definitely make sure you go head over to my channel and check that out as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.